Well, hello, Leos. It's almost your birthday coming up, and this is Joe, and I'm going to do your kind of late mid to end of July general tarot check-in. This is a general intuitive reading, so it's not going to be for everybody. So if it's not, that's okay. There's always another video for another day that may be for you, and so check back another time if this doesn't speak to you. So we're going to get into this reading, and I'm going to be using the Tarot of Dreams. I'm sorry, the Dreaming Way, not the Tarot of Dreams. And we're going to see what your message is this month. Solar plexus, nice. All right, and we're going to see what else we have here before we get into the tarot. Go to sea. I feel like some of you, Leos, this go to sea almost instantly tells me to go be in the quiet by yourself. Meet your maker, meet your creator, meet spirit, meet the universe or what have you. And I think there's some seeking for some of you right now that needs to happen. So again, this reading is the 19th through the 31st pretty much. And I think it's going to be a good reading. The Hanged Man, and I think that really kind of goes with what I just said, the Hanged Man in your recent past. Just kind of life is on hold. There might not be a whole lot of movement. And I think this is kind of what this is about for you. But we're going to dive into it as soon as I have all the cards out. And we're going to see what the storyline is for you, Leo. Nice. The High Priestess. I like that. Five of Swords. Some of you are protecting what belongs to you. You're in a very protective mode. Let's see. The Devil and the Outcome. We're going to clarify that. Your challenge. And the Knight of Cups. Okay, Leo, so what is all this about? To see in the solar plexus chakra. So I think this solar plexus chakra card is, without getting into it in this reading, because I like to try to keep these a little short, I'm going to say maybe take some time and read up on that. And it's calling to attention that perhaps this is where you need to focus your energy work, if that's what you do, and that's on the solar plexus. And I think that this is just calling out kind of where you need to focus your attention on your own personal energetic body. And then you have 2C, and I really do feel like this is about you kind of going to see to find some time with the divine, with your maker, the creator, God, source, whoever it is in your spiritual practice that you look to kind of sustain you, to guide you. And I think that this is what this is about. So we have the Knight of Cups in the bigger theme of things, and this is beyond the dates of the 19th to the 31st. I think this is an energy that this is a bubble of energy to me, the way I see it, that kind of surrounds this. And this is to me really, I see this as being protective, but I also see this as almost wanting to make an offer of love towards somebody, or heartfelt offer. Some intuitively, I read the cards intuitively, so I use that first before I get into the kind of face value meaning. And I almost feel like the Knight of Cups might be an offer of apology that either you want to make with somebody, maybe an amends, or kind of bearing the hatchet, so to speak, or you're waiting for somebody to come in your direction and make that offer, that peacemaking offer. And I really do feel like this is kind of what this is about, is that peacemaking offer that is got to go either way between you and another person. I do really feel that very much. To me, that's kind of what this is speaking about. And I really see this as a very guarded and kind of protective kind of energy. I see the Hanged Man in the recent past. And so I think this is just, to me, the Hanged Man in this is, it's almost about indecision and not knowing which step to take next. And so I see this as the feeling of, well, if I don't know which choice to make, what step to take next, I'm just going to hang out here and let things play out until I absolutely have to make a move in this situation. So I see this as kind of like waiting for something to happen. And you have the Page of Pentacles here. And I think that this Page of Pentacles is very much about this this communication, this heartfelt kind of apology or offer. This might be with somebody you were or are in a relationship with. And so there's some kind of vibe here that just tells me that there is a misunderstanding, and maybe some of you, it may not even be a misunderstanding. It might actually be an all-out kind of argument or conflict. It doesn't feel like it's a whole lot of conflict. I think this can be some of this can be a grudge. Whatever the situation is, apply it how you will. I see the Page of Pentacles is this kind of slowly materializing. So if you're in a situation, a standoff with somebody, I see this as actually kind of coming to a resolution, but there is a warning here at the end, but we're going to clarify that. I see this kind of coming to a resolution, or there starts to be a point where there's some movement in this. So the Page of Pentacles here is all about this starting to materialize, and I think there's been a time, a pause between you and somebody else, and this is actually going to start to work itself out. However, you have your challenge here crossing you. You have the Four of Wands. And so this does lead me to believe that this is some kind of tending to lean toward a romantic relationship. But this could be a family member or somebody in your family or somebody even in the workplace, a friendship. But I think this to me does feel of like a romantic type connection. And the challenge is not getting caught up in the idea of this relationship, because I think things have kind of gotten to a point and boiled over to where there's been enough time for the dust to settle. And so forgetting about what transgression has really happened and the severity of the transgression, or how deeply that transgression caused a rift, I think there's this tendency to really only look at the good things and not really remember about how much I feel like some past drama there was. And I think that's why the Devil card comes up here. So I think that your challenge is just to not overlook everything that kind of got you to this point. To kind of remember, yes, there are a lot of good things with this involvement with this person, but there are also some negative things. And I think this is really kind of an interesting way for the cards to come out and speak the story to me. You have the Six of Wands here in like the very base root of things, and I see this as somebody being very boastful and proud of themselves. Somebody kind of maybe bragging. So I almost see the Six of Wands kind of needing to be in the reverse. And generally, I always read all cards upright. If I feel like they need to be in the reverse, or they're kind of more speaking in the reverse, I'll say that. So I feel like somebody was like maybe overly brave, overly optimistic, maybe very egotistical. Somebody was really doing their own show, is kind of how I feel. And I think that is kind of part of the whole dynamic of this. And I think that this person feels that maybe you owe them an apology, but I feel like you feel like this person owes you an apology. So I think there's been a standoff for some time. And I think at some point here, before the end of the month, you're going to see some movement in this. You're going to see, you have the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Wands, and I see this as some movement, some communication. But how this turns out is going to be interesting. And I think it's really up to you how this turns out. This is definitely a very, this could be something that goes back some time. This could be a conflict that has, since ended several months ago. But there's this long standoff, just nothing happening with the situation. And you go on with your life, they go on with their life. And there's just this long pause between you and this person before anything breaks free and something starts to happen, because there is stuff that is not finished up or wrapped up in this situation in a way. So we're going to move on here. You have the High Priestess here. And the High Priestess is like really all about you. And to me, I see this as good. If it was the High Priest, it might have a little bit of a darker shadow side to it. But this is the High Priestess, and I see this as a very positive, light energy. More of, gosh, I really don't know how to say it, but this is that highly intuitive and highly commanding feminine energy. And this isn't about gender, but this is about you know, knowing how to speak to somebody, not necessarily speaking to their thoughts, but speaking to their heart. Really, when the High Priestess wants something, she wants something not just from what comes from her thoughts, but she really wants something from her heart, and she really has this really deeper understanding of the situation in here. So I really see you having like a very, very deep underlying understanding of the real root cause of things, and that's kind of why I think the High Priestess is coming out. It's having that higher understanding. It's that lighter kind of light side energy, where the High Priest could be the darker kind of a little bit, I want to almost say a little bit on the shrewd side. And so I see this as coming out as very good for you. It just, to me, it seems like it's coming from a place more of purity. And so that's kind of the ground you're standing on. And you have the Five of Swords. This is the external influence. So this situation still bothers you very much, though. No matter how you carry yourself and conduct yourself, this situation still really eats at you and bothers you. And I think that you know, up until a certain point, this person may have tried to kind of poke at you a little bit. And I think that this wound between you and this person is never really healed. And despite that, you're carrying yourself as being a very, somebody who is just rides above things, takes the high road. And so I see this High Priestess is kind of just overlooking everything. And I think that here at the King of Wands, this is a lot about really what you want out of this. And I think you really just want to see this as just wanting to kind of strike your wand, say your piece, and move along, move your different ways, because I think there's going to be understanding here. There isn't going to be a meeting of the hearts and minds in this situation. It just feels like some unfinished business. This person might be coming back toward you because they might be a bit narcissistic. So if you're dealing with a past love, you'll understand that very much. And I think a lot of people who are, I hate to say victims, but who have been kind of victimized in a narcissistic relationship, they tend to always kind of be conditioned to only look at the good things, only look at the bright side of things. And it's very easy to forget about all the gaslighting and the negative things. So I see this as you really wanted to just take this one. And I almost see this as like Lord of the Rings saying, you know, you shall not pass. You are standing your ground. And I think you believe very passionately in your side of things. And I think that maybe this might be a final closing of the connection between you and this other person. We have the Devil here. And I think that this is saying that unless you stand your ground and unless you cut ties with this person, is what I think that needs to happen, or what is going to happen, then there will be a release. But you might be trapped in this because the Five of Swords is really influencing you. So you might stay trapped for a while in this kind of resentment with this person. And I think that this is saying you need to cut yourself loose from that. And so I'm going to pull a couple extra cards and we can close it out. And by the way, this is the Light Seers Tarot I'm using right here. And if you want a chance to win that, this deck that I'm using after the end of July, after this month closes out, if you're a subscriber, just let me know. Comment subscribed. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. Let me know that you did, and I will include you in the drawing for this. But I'm going to ask here for a couple cards to kind of clarify what this Devil is about. But I feel like it's you needing to release yourself from this. No matter, no expectations on the outcome. Out to sea, I think you kind of need to go a distance from this person. Spend some time in solitude. And I think maybe meditate, and maybe even if you're into praying, say some prayers, to really just concentrate your energy in healing in that solar plexus, which is an interesting card to come out in a reading like this. So what is this Devil about? So you have the Knight of Wands and you have the King of Wands here. I think this, to me, I just intuitively feel like this is saying you need to get away from this energy, this person, and I feel like there needs to be a cutting of the ties. And I feel like this is like saying you got to cut yourself off quickly and move away from this person, because I do feel like they are coming toward you, and maybe I feel this is less about you going toward them to try and bury the hatchet. I feel like this is them coming toward you, but it could go either way. Apply it how you need to for your situation, but this could very much be about that past relationship, if you had a past relationship on the romantic side of things. What else do we have? We have the Four of Wands, and it's funny how the Four of Wands is stalking us here in this reading. So I think, to me, this is saying you have the potential for the Four of Wands here, and this is just a release. And the Knight of Wands, to me, is like you're having to kind of quickly release yourself from this person. It's like pulling the ripcord on a parachute, and you gotta just get out of there, get out of this situation. Many of you, some of you might have been waiting for this person to come towards you, but I think there's like becomes this understanding once you have a connection with this person again, that it's just going to be more of the same, and there really aren't any changes. And I think if you kind of reestablish a connection with this person, I think that devil is very much going to stay there. And the other Strength and the Sun fell out, and we're going to just kind of leave it at that. The Strength and the Sun, Leo, Leo, Leo. This is all about you. I mean, look at all the fire in this reading. I mean, you got a lot of wands here. You got the King of Wands. I mean, you're all over the place. And I usually don't assign zodiacs to cards because I just have my own reasons. Not that it's right or wrong, but really, if you were to look at it this way, you would see yourself in this very much. Your strength and endurance to overcome. This is going to set you free. It's going to release you. You're going to overcome things, and it's just going to be about that that feeling of accomplishment. But this is an inner accomplishment, and being able to really cut yourself off from somebody that maybe has kind of dominated or tried to dominate and control you in a lot of different ways, especially with manipulation and kind of emotionally. And then you have the Sun here. This is really just feeling that release and that change and shift in energy, that things are just finally over with, and it's like being free to just roam and do what it is that you want to do. You're cut loose, you're set yourself free. It's really about you setting yourself free from this person. But the Sun is like about that ultimate illumination. Everything around you becomes much clearer. You really be able to see the choices that you have in front of you, and you'll be able to make decisions and choices clearly with a lot of clarity. There really isn't going to be anything hidden from your sight. And I think that this is just saying by the time you're well into August, you're in a completely different mode of operation, Leo. You're all over this, and I think you're going to do well this month. So I'm going to wrap it up because this went really long. I got one more to do. So I'm going to say have a great rest of your night. If this resonates with you, you'll know it. Give me a thumbs up. Again, this isn't going to be for everybody. It's probably very specific to a few people. So I'm going to say have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again.